Today's reading, the Gospel is from Tuesday, March 23rd, the fourth week of Lent. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. There was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now there is in Jerusalem at the sheep gate a pool called in Hebrew Bethesda, with 5 porticos. In these lay a large number of ill, blind, lame, and crippled. One man was there who had been ill for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had been ill for a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be well?" The sick man answered him, "Sir, I have no one to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. While I am on my way, someone always gets down there before me." Jesus said to him, "Rise, take up your mat, and walk." Immediately the man became well, took up his mat, and walked. Now that day was a Sabbath. So the Jews said to the man who was cured, "It is the Sabbath, and it's not lawful for you to carry your mat." He answered them, "The man who made me well told me, 'Take up your mat and walk.'" They asked him, "Who is the man who told you, 'Take it up and walk'?" The man who was healed did not know who he was, for Jesus had slipped away since there was a crowd there. After this, Jesus found him in the temple area and said to him, "Look, you are well. Do not sin anymore, so that nothing worse may happen to you." The men went and told the Jews that Jesus was the one who had made him well. Therefore the Jews began to persecute Jesus because he did this on the Sabbath. The Gospel of the Lord. Jesus Christ. Well, I know we're going through challenging times, but it's far less worse than what happened in Japan. There were thousands and thousands of Japanese Christians, and they lived without a priest for nearly 250 years. Okay? Think about that. No priest, no mass, no sacraments other than baptism for nearly 250 years. Oh, they would baptize their children in secret, passing down the faith in whispered lessons. And they used to pray before images of the Madonna and Child that were disguised to look like the Buddhist images. Finally, in 1858, Japan finally admitted Christian missionaries who found 10,000 Christians waiting for them. Can you imagine the joy that was raised when the priest arrived? I mean, your whole life, you never even seen a priest, never attended Mass, and never received the Holy Eucharist. Oh, they heard about it. People spoke about the Mass, about receiving the body and blood of Christ, but most of them spent their life knowing that they would never have the opportunity. All they knew was their grandmother's grandmother once attended Mass. Boy, it puts social distancing in perspective now, doesn't it? Well, I know it's not easy, these days, and you probably miss Mass more now than you miss it when you had it. It means much more special, I think. And so we can't use that excuse, like this crippled man who couldn't get in the pool because others beat him to it. I mean, he wasn't racing against Olympic stars when Jesus asked me if he wanted to get healed. So we can't use, the excuse that my faith will wither or die because I can't attend Mass. In fact, it may make us seek Lord more in our own personal prayer time and to make that spiritual communion. Say, "Lord, I long for you, I miss you, I desire you. Please touch and bless me today." I hope and I pray, and I'm sure it's not going to be 250 years when we'll be back together here in the Lord's house. Stay well, stay safe, and God bless you.